I don't care about that. Don't bring it up again. You will remove all the trash and dump it into the ocean.
Oh man, this was so sweet. I loved the animation. I loved the voices. I loved the characters and the friendships between them and getting to watch their dynamics. And I thought it was a really accessible way to tell an important message that is able to be listened to by all audiences of all ages, which I think is really important, especially when you're talking about issues that affect all of us as a planet. And so, if we can teach our young ones about saving the planet early, it only helps. So, I really enjoyed watching this. It was um, fun and light, but with a very important message. And I think they did a fantastic job.
All right, I just finished watching Ted the Shark. I like this piece. I feel like it's very difficult to create these types of pieces that are supposed to work for a young audience, both as entertainment and as information. And I thought this was a really well created piece that worked on both levels. I thought it had a very sort of children's programming feel that you would see on Nick Jr., which is a compliment. It was very well constructed in terms of the central characters, the voice acting, and sort of the progression of the plot, having to save the turtle, and just sort of having a reflection of what a child would see in these other types of characters, and sort of giving them a sense of the world and how to interact with the world through these characters. I thought there was a really great sense of compassion and sort of awareness about nature within the piece that, excuse me, gave it a really great sense of heart. And I thought that there was just a very, endearing approach with Ted and I'm sorry, I'm forgetting his friend, his name at the moment, but their dynamic I thought was very natural. And I thought even his some small moments with him and his parents I thought were quite natural. I just felt like the piece had a good sense of what it wanted to be and the audience it wanted to affect, and I thought that it really gave it a good direction in terms of how to build the piece and how to construct the idea in a way that's accessible to their target audience. So I thought it was very well done. It had a great message in terms of human's relationship with nature and how it needs to change, and I thought that this was a really great way of sending this message to a younger audience without overwhelming them with a lot of ideas that might make them sort of feel like it's an inaccessible endeavor, but rather sort of inspiring them to see how they can sort of make a difference within their own lives. So I thought it was a well done for those reasons.
Ted the Shark. This had some incredibly gorgeous animation and what they were doing with the art style that they chose to pick. And the filmmakers were smart with how they decided to kind of tell the story, not just the setup of the story, but the way that they told the entire story was, I thought, really cool, really educational. They told it in a way that anybody could understand what the moral of the story is. And they made it very, very clear. Every single character had such personality. The voiceovers for it were great. You could distinctly, you knew who everybody was. And yeah, I think this was great.
Ted the Shark was very endearing. It was a very cute way of conveying nautical why cleaning the environment is important, especially in a nautical sense. Uh, and it's structured in such a way that it's very easy to understand. I definitely feel like it's a very good demographic for children uh, to kind of visualize why littering and pollution is so dangerous. Especially, I think the most important part of this animation, while yes, having a giant battle with a trash monster always helps get the message across. I think the most important part was after they saved the sea turtle and he was basically suffocating. Uh, I feel like that's a very real and a very scary moment that you don't really see very often. That is very much a harsh reality. Um, and it's one of those moments where I feel like Ted the Shark does a good job of conveying that uh, children are able to handle certain things or certain levels of maturity that we sometimes don't give them credit for. Uh, because while a trash monster and sentient fish are likely not a thing, the death of sea life is, and that's a grim future that we're going to go towards if we don't do something about this. All in all, I think Ted the Shark does a great job of digesting this message down into a way that its proper demographic will be able to get that message.
Ted the Shark. Well, this was a gorgeous film. The graphics were just so beautifully defined, and the detail, the color, all wonderful. The action scenes really flowed, and they were forward and back and up and down and just so smooth. The story was suited to children and telling of the litter in the ocean and how it's changing the current or clouding the current. Great message, and that there's still time to act on this is the hopeful message at the end. But just overall, it had the appeal of Finding Nemo with humor and touching moments, and just a great piece to watch.
This was incredibly cute and educational in a way that would inform kids about the danger of throwing trash in the ocean. This had a very Disney Junior and Nick Jr. feel to it, as if it could be the pilot of a brand new series that continues to follow Ted the Shark and his friends to educate children about the ocean and through their adventures and what we should not do and how we should take care of our oceans. I think a lot of kids would actually enjoy this, and even collecting little toys from it and everything else. It's incredibly cute. That I really do think that my little nieces would enjoy a show like this. The animation is something that was brightly colored that they could follow. The words were simple where they'd understand it, and everything else.
Ted the Shark. Ted the Shark is a beautiful animation film. First of all, the animation is absolutely stunning. I mean, amazing visuals, very, very, very well done. Congratulations on that. And then the film gives us an important message, which is the waste that we're creating every day as humans, wasting plastic, especially plastic, and then dump the waste in the ocean. It is a terrible thing that always happens, and it keeps happening. And if we don't stop it, at some point, the earth is going to collapse. It's already collapsing, we know that, but at some point it's really going to collapse, and there's no turning back. There's no coming back from that. But I really like the film, the positive vibes of the movie, this imaginary story, and we have the shark and his friends. They just trying to live a normal life, but then they start getting in the way of human waste, and then they have to fight this horrible monster, which is basically just an enormous composition of organic and non-organic waste that humans keep dumping in the ocean. And then in the end, it's very symbolic, the fact that they beat the monster using plastic. I mean, using one of these waste made by humans. So I think overall it was an inspiring film, funny at times, but also very interesting, educative, and it makes you think. It makes you think quite a lot. So overall, great short, very well done. Congratulations.
Ted the Shark. I really, really enjoyed this. I thought it was really, really fun. I thought it was really, really cute. I thought it was a way to kind of introduce and tackle a bigger issue or a more serious topic in a more lighthearted way, which I think is great, or, you know, a more kind of almost family-friendly way, which I think is great, because I think the younger you introduce these concepts and the more you don't shy away from them, the more you bring them up and they get talked about from a young age, especially, you know, how the environmental, you know, kind of climate stands, and the more you bring it up, the more you talk about it, the more it's introduced, the better it is, because it should be talked about regularly, not just within, you know, the realm of politics, within the realm of scientists, within the realm of social media. It should be talked about within the family. It should be talked about, you know, not just among adults. It should be talked about with everybody, because ultimately the kids are going to be the ones that are on this planet after, you know, our generation has come and gone. And so I think that things like this are really, really great, because it's a way to kind of introduce concepts in a way that is easier to understand as a kid, and easier to kind of talk about and introduce as a family. And I think that there's really great value in that.